Um, I got zero sleep last night, so try to bear with me. Um, I tried to stay the night at my apartment up here. It's a lot more comfortable to sleep in my trailer. Um, this is about unchecked racism, not just unchecked racism from the white community. Who is it that named us the white community? Who is it that named us white people? I don't remember naming myself white person. I'm pretty sure my name is Sean, not hey whitey, hey cracker, hey redneck. No, my name is Sean David Schwartz. You can address me as Sean. You can address me as Mr. Schwartz. Hell, a lot of people here in Chapel, Nebraska still call me Schwartzy. But my name is Sean. Do all white people look the same? Is that what this is? See, I grew up with minorities. When I see two black men together, I can tell them apart. But it seems to me there's an awful lot of people who are not white who can't tell the difference between one white person and another. That's just stupid. Now I'm going to read you a post. And parts of this post are very nice, make very good points, and parts of this are just complete and total shit. It starts off, there's a picture of a feller holding a sign that says, "Dear white people, thanks for marching, but somebody still has to pay for the crimes of your ancestors." Well, isn't that just swell? What about the crimes of your ancestors? Why would you just assume that my ancestors were people who owe you for something? Now, it says somebody still has to pay for the crimes of your ancestors. That's very vague. It doesn't say that somebody has to pay him and specifically for the crimes of our ancestors. It also doesn't specifically state what crimes those are. However, the fact remains that I am not responsible for the actions of my father, or my grandfather, or my great grandfather, or my great 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 grandfather. And if you want to go down the women's side of the line, same thing. By the way, my family never owned slaves, at least not in the United States of America. There's a possibility that if you go far enough back, there might be somebody in my family, maybe even 100 generations or more back, that owned slaves. I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but the Berber Corsairs were from North Africa. And, well, they pretty much went out and killed and raided anybody that was white. That was their thing. Theirs in specific, not all black people, not all people from Africa, but specifically the Berber Corsairs. Rotten son of a bitches. Like to enslave people, including their own. Does that make it okay? No, the fuck it don't. Now I'm gonna read this here. Now, first of all, what would you assume that post means? Dear white people, thanks for marching. But no, that just right there. You put but. That's fuck you for marching. Anytime you put the word but in there, you've just wiped away what you just said. Do you not understand that? Now, you got all these white folks who are fighting for your rights, for your special rights, which you already have special rights. They're not observed. Is that my fault? No, I've been trying to fight as hard as I can to get those body cameras for over a decade. Now it says someone still has to pay for the crimes of your ancestors. Now, first of all, what is this insinuating? It's insinuating that white people are to blame, very specifically a skin color. It is also insinuating, although he doesn't say that somebody has to pay him or his people for this, that is what it is implying. And then for the crimes of your ancestors, which ancestors in specific would that be? Not sure if you noticed, but over 600,000 American soldiers fought and died for black freedom, for black people to be free. It says, I have often wondered, it's from James W. Peeler, by the way. It said, I have often wondered about why whites are racist and no other race is. Well, that's because whites aren't the only racists. I was born just after the first real lineup of civil rights laws. I was born in 1980. John Lennon was still alive when I was born, only for a couple of months, but that's how old I am. Through most of my life, most of the unchecked racism that I have seen has very specifically come from the black community, not from the Native American community, not from the white community, not from the Hispanic community or the immigrant community, but very specifically from the black community. So I have seen black people use the color of their skin as an excuse, first of all, to victimize others, and second of all, to pretend like they're the victims. And I have seen this for the majority of my life. I went into the system when I was 4. Before that, I don't remember much. Matter of fact, when I was 4 in the system, I don't remember much. When I was 5 in the system, I don't remember much. When I was 6, that's when I started remembering stuff that I can remember to this day. I've seen on hundreds of occasions black people start a fight with a white person, call him honky, call him cracker, over and over and over again, and say, call me the N-word, call me the N-word, I dare you, I dare you. I know you want to, I know you want to, call me an N-word, call me an N-word, except they ain't saying the N-word. Why is the N-word so racist? Yeah, that's a good question. It's racist. I don't like the word, so I don't personally use it. I don't like the way that I was treated as a child for the color of my skin, and I am not going to treat someone else like that for the color of theirs. To pretend that only white people can be racist is a racist statement in and of itself. Now, this guy who types this big long spiel, when he gets to the parts where he's being a racist, you damn right I'm going to say something, but we'll have to get that far first. It says, someone finally said it. How many are actually paying attention to this? There are African Americans, Mexican Americans, Asian Americans, Arab Americans, etc. And then there are just Americans. You pass me on the street and sneer in my direction. You call me white boy, cracker, honky, whitey, caveman, and that's okay. You say that whites commit a lot of violence against you. So why are the ghettos the most dangerous places to live? Now, I want to make mention here that through all of this, poverty has been the issue. If you don't have the money for a civil lawyer, your guilt is just assumed and they'll railroad you. You have no rights. It doesn't matter what color you are. If you're broke, you're broke. Now, I have seen more hate crimes from the black community against white people. And when I say the community, it has very much been a community thing. Community supported racism. And that's not okay. Chapel, Nebraska has community supported racism, and I speak out about them every day, don't I? I speak out about the KKK, the Airheadian Brotherhood. Now, this guy right here is going to try selling a very racist narrative, but a lot of his points are valid. A lot of his statistics are valid. However, the direction that he goes at the very end, when we get that far, I'm going to point that out. Am I a German American? Am I a Jewish American? Am I a Black American? Am I a white American? Am I an African American? Well, my ancestors are all of those, so whatever. That whole white boy cracker honky. See, that's where we got a bunch of young punk kids who want to hear stories about how bad it used to be. Is it that bad anymore? No, not even fucking close. Nowhere near. It's worse for the homeless and for the disabled. But you young punk kids don't know shit. You didn't have to grow up with that racism. You didn't have to grow up with that hell that your parents or grandparents or great grandparents did. We've had a lot of generations since all of that happened with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we got a lot of kids who don't know what the hell it's like, don't know what the hell it was about. Want to talk to us today about what it's like, what it's about, and how we owe. Most of my life, I've been told how I owe black people because my people own them. Hold on a second. Who says they're my people? I'm not going to claim anybody who would own another human being. Are you out of your damn mind? That's why I hate the government so much. 13th Amendment. The end of the Civil War came with a price. See, the end of the Civil War made it illegal for private ownership of black slaves, pretty much specifically. By that point in time, most of the Irish slaves had been set free. Most of them were set free when we gained our independence. What's this we stuff? How many of us actually fought in that war? None. Not a single one of us. White people have to deal with racism a lot. we also have to deal with the fact that we're not allowed to do anything about it because of public opinion. I'm mutt. Is there a mutt day? A day for those of us who are not completely and totally fucking inbred? That sure would be nice. That one, this one, type hi Sean and everyone. All right, so it's not just these racist terms like white boy, cracker, honky, white, caveman. There's a whole bunch more that go along with that, by the way. And then there's also the fact that you can use the N word. It doesn't matter if you put a hard R on the end or an A. It doesn't. Because of the color of your skin, you're allowed to say it. Because of the color of my skin, I'm not. That is racist. One of the reasons that I refuse to use that word, despite the fact that I have actually had black folks tell me, hey, Sean, I'm fine with you saying it. Go ahead. No, I'm not fine with saying it. First of all, and second of all, what happens? I get in the habit of saying that word around you. Not every black person is going to be as forgiving as you. Not every black person is going to give me permission to use that word. And why would I want to get permission from somebody to even use that word? It's a fucking disgusting word. Anyway, when he types, so why are the ghettos the most dangerous places to live? Because of poverty. You stuff that many people, that many victims into one area and continually victimize them and leave them no way to defend themselves against their predators. Yeah, people are going to do desperate shit. Regardless of what color they are. He types, so why are the ghettos the most dangerous places to live? They're not. The ghettos are not the most dangerous places to live in the United States. Not by a long shot. You're more likely to be killed on a reservation. There's a lot of words here. I don't know how to pronounce them. They're foreign words. I'm not going to mispronounce them on purpose. I will do my best, but if I mispronounce them, I might get called a racist. This guy types, you have the United Negro College Fund. You have Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Or Martin Luther King Day is what he does. I usually say doctor first, but I'm going to stop right there. Here in Chapel, Nebraska, there aren't very many black folks. Yesterday, I saw a black man walking down the street in Chapel, Nebraska, listening to his headphones, just mobbing around like he owns the place. That's cool. I was glad to see him. But here in Chapel, Nebraska, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, all of a sudden, all these people who don't really need to go to the bank, all of a sudden, everybody is pissed off on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day because magically, that's the day that they were going to go do all of their stuff at the bank. Everybody in town was going to go do all of their stuff at the bank on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Why? Out of all the days in the year, why is that the one day that the white people in this town want to come together and complain? It's because that's their excuse to use the N word in public and get away with it. There's lots of holidays that black folks and Native Americans celebrate that aren't their own, isn't there? Of course, that all depends on what you consider their own. Like Christianity, for example. Is Christianity really the Native Americans' religion? It's the number one religion now among the Native American community. Christianity. Number one religion among black people in America, too. Why is that? If people whoop your ass, you adopt their God. What if their God was an asshole? Oh, but Jesus loves me. Not enough to do anything about this. Not enough to do anything more than just watch. So let's read some more of this. Now, mind you, a lot of this stuff is, first of all, it is true. There is a United Negro College Fund. There's no United Caucasian College Fund. That's just one of hundreds of special resources specifically for black folks and special rights specifically for black folks. This whole appeasement thing isn't working. It's not. Yes, let's kiss all black people's ass and let black people get away with whatever they want, and that'll make things better, right? If we spend from the 1980s to the present allowing black people to be openly and blatantly and outright racist and get away with it, somehow that magically justifies this all, doesn't it? No, it fucking doesn't. Most of my predators when I was in the system were minorities. Most of my predators, since aging out of the system, most of my predators have been white. You like how I use that word, white? Since that's the category that I get stuffed into. It doesn't matter about my brain. It doesn't matter that I fight for other human beings' rights. Apparently, I owe people for ancestors that I didn't even have. Meanwhile, do I get to blame every black person out there for the slavery that took place with the Barbary Corsairs? That was around the same time as our great American Revolution that was going on. Matter of fact, it was because of the situation with the Barbary Corsairs that the War of 1812 happened. Folks from Africa were stealing so many British people, abducting them and forcing them into slavery, that the British Navy didn't have enough people to man all of its ships. So they started stealing American sailors. And by the way, at that point in time, 60% of American sailors were black. Black people have been fighting for this country since before it was a country. Then again, we keep getting told how we are ignoring black history, or we are ignoring the parts of history that we don't like. I'm not. I've been speaking out for years. There's a reason for that. Because when I see a black person, I see a human being. When I look in the mirror, I see a human being. If I'm going to judge you, I'm going to judge you based on your decisions, on your actions. And I will give you a chance to defend yourself, unlike most. It says you have Martin Luther King Day, you have Black History Month, you have Cesar Chavez Day, you have Yom HaShoah, you have Maulid Oh, Navi. You have the NAACP. You have BET. If we had WET, White Entertainment Television, we'd be racist. If we had a White Pride Day, you would call us racist. If we had White History Month, we'd be racist. Now, I've heard a lot of arguments from black folks and people who support BLM since before there was even a BLM. And a lot of the stuff this guy addresses here, although it's some of it is complete BS, I can understand where he's coming from. White pride is synonymous with racism. That's not my decision. I didn't make myself white. I didn't stuff myself into the white category. I was born white. I didn't choose that. I was also born into poverty, and I didn't choose that. I was born to two parents who couldn't stay off the cocaine. That wasn't my decision either. Now, with the stuff that this fella is typing, a lot of black folks say, well, you don't need a black or a white history month. You just have history. No, we have history. There's no such thing as black history. It's just history. There's no such thing as white history. It's just history. The events of the past have already happened. We cannot go back in time and change them. Now, wouldn't it be nice if I could get paid for every ancestor that I had throughout history that was property of someone else? Let's see, it says if we had White History Month, we'd be racist. And we've heard that argument. I'm pretty tired, so I'll come back to that argument later because I have a whole big long spiel for that. Holy hell. If we had any organization for only whites to advance our lives, we'd be racist. We have a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, a Black Chamber of Commerce, and then we have just the plain Chamber of Commerce. Wonder who pays for that. A white woman could not be in the Miss Black American pageant, but any color can be in the Miss America pageant. If we had a college fund that only gave white students scholarships, you know we'd be racist. There are over 60 openly proclaimed black colleges in the US. Yet if there were white colleges, that would be a racist college. In a Million Man March, you believe that you were marching for your race and rights. If we march for our race and rights, you would call us racist. Well, there's only one race. As far as human goes, there's only one race of humans, and that's human. You're proud to be black, brown, yellow, and orange, and you're not afraid to announce it. But when we announce our white pride, you call us racist. I don't have white pride. I'm not proud of the color of my skin. My skin doesn't make my decisions. My skin doesn't fight for my rights. I do. That's all in my brain. That's the thing that's underneath the skin. Now, this is the part where the guy gets really openly and blatantly outright racist. And I'm still going to read it. He typed, "You rob us." Well, who robbed you, dude? What's this guy's name? James W. Peeler. James W. Peeler, who robbed you? I want to know. Because you typed, "You rob us." Who in specific is robbing you, dude? Are you trying to insinuate that's a black-only crime? It's like saying only white people can be racist. It says, you rob us, carjack us, and shoot at us. I've never been shot at by a black person. Never had my car jacked by a black person either. I've had my car jacked, but not by a black folk. And I have been shot at, but not by black folk. Anyway, it says, but when a white police officer shoots a black gang member or beats up a black drug dealer running from the law and posing a threat to society, you call him a racist. Well, hold on a second. That whole spiel right there is fucking bullshit and racist. So this feller, whose name is James W. Peeler, made a lot of really good points. And then he shat it all down the toilet with this last part. Holy fucking ignorance. That's all right. I'm going to judge him the same way that I judge people of all colors. Dude, you're a racist. And here's why he's a racist. First of all, most of those black folks who are being killed, who says that they're gang members? And who says it's all right to beat them up without a day in court? Kill them or shoot them in the head without a day in court. Now, according to the statistics I was reading, there's about, on the lowest side, there's 502 people murdered by police last year. 502. Over half of them have some form of disability. So if you've got 502 and over half, well, let's just call it even half. We'll call it an even half. That's 251 people. 251 people killed by police last year. Is that the whole number? No, that's 251 people out of 502 who were killed for having a disability. An additional 217 of those people were homeless. What percentage of the incarcerated population are homeless? 81% nationwide. 81%. This guy wants to type a bunch of racist crap at this point. He's already typed some racist stuff, but he also made some good points. But here, he types, you rob us, carjack us, and shoot us. Right there, you're making the same assumptions as this racist asshole up at the top. You see that racist asshole right there? Nobody owes you nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. You owe me. You owe me. You owe me. Holy fuck. The rules are different depending on who you are, aren't they? It don't matter what color you are capable of racism, you are capable of hatred, you are capable of playing victim, and you are capable of pretending. Anyway, it says, but when a police officer shoots a black gang member, who says it's a black gang member that they're shooting? Was George Floyd a gang member? We just gonna pretend that anybody killed by the cops is a gang member now? Is that what it is? So if a police officer wants to blow his wife's head off, then he can say she was a gang member? Mm. All right. On July 17th, 2014, Eric Garner died in the New York City borough of Staten Island. How many of y'all remember this feller? This is what started the Black Lives Matters movement. And I spoke out then too about how terrible it is these things are happening. But if the issue is police brutality, stop shaming the other victims of police brutality. Stop telling them that they can't be victims because of the color of their skin. Just like those of you women pretending that men can't be victims of rape, maybe you should look back at statistics. One in three victims in the United States are male. Now we've got a whole bunch of folks who are trying to sell this racist narrative where we don't have any indication from these police officers that would show or even suggest that their actions were racially motivated. Is that in all of these cases? No. There's a couple of them where officers don't get the benefit of the doubt, and I'm fine with that. We don't get the benefit of the doubt. Poor people don't get the benefit of the doubt. That's for rich people. But this guy is trying to insinuate some pretty messed up stuff about the black community as a whole. If you have a predator, is your predator specifically any one color? Is there any specific color of predator in the United States? Like all of this color of people are murderers, and all of these color of people are saints, angels, and they're all going to heaven. But we don't have that. It says, or beats up a black drug dealer. Well, hold on a second. First of all, that's an assumption of guilt. If you're beating them up, then you've already assumed their guilt. And as many officers as we've seen recently lying on the stand and trying to plant evidence on homeless people and black people, and one of those homeless people was a black people, by the way. So he fits into both categories. Um, let's see. Beats up a black drug dealer running from the law and posing a threat to society. You call him racist. Well, with all due respect, big difference between shooting a man in the back and beating him up. But also, it is not right for police to brutalize anyone. And that's the biggest issue I have with this doucher here. Very end there, he's making excuses why it's okay for the police. Fuck no, it ain't. Trying to make excuses why it's okay for white folks. Fuck no, it ain't. What, you think I'm going to say this is wrong for black people to do and then I'm just going to spare everybody else? Fuck no. If it's wrong for you, it's wrong for me, and it's wrong for them. And who is them? Anybody who is human. It says, why is it that only whites can be racist? There's nothing improper about this email. Let's see which of you are proud enough to send it on. Well, there is quite a bit improper about it. I'm not going to send it on. And as far as my pride goes, Fuck my pride. There are human lives at stake. If you can't stuff your pride when there's human lives at stake, you're not a human. You're a monster. Anyway, it says, why is it that only whites can be racist? Oh, I'm further on this, aren't I? I sadly don't think many will. That's why we have lost most of our rights in this country. We won't stand up for ourselves. Be proud to be white. It's not a crime yet, but getting very close. Well, here's the thing. I have seen over the years how the racism towards white folks has gotten worse, but it's not just towards white folks. It's in specific towards poor white people. You can talk shit all you want about rich white people, how they're doing this to you and they're doing that to you. But when it all comes down to it, you got the same victim pool as the police. Go, hey, I didn't get what I wanted. I'll go take it out on a homeless person. It doesn't matter what color that homeless person is. We need to work together. Special rights have done more to fan the flames of racism than anything else. When we introduce these great ideas that make things worse, you don't think that people planned that out? You think that was an unforeseen side effect? All right, believe what you want to, I suppose.